Most cities allow a few backyard chickens with certain restrictions. In Salem, we can have 5 hens with a permit. For more information, visit salemchickens.com. This episode will cover all the things that need to be considered before building your backyard coop and tips for safely adding new birds to an established flock. Raising chickens in the city requires a coop that is practical for your lifestyle and your backyard. Most of us have limited space and need to leave room for garden beds, barbecues, play structures, greenhouses, hot tubs, and whatnot. But people are very creative when it comes to figuring out how to include a chicken coop in their backyard. The best way to get ideas for what might work in your particular yard is to attend a chicken coop tour. Coop tours are very popular all around the country. In Oregon, you'll find them every summer in Portland, Salem, Corvallis, and other cities throughout the state. For a small fee, you're given a book that includes a map, color photos, and descriptions of coops in your area. And you'll have the opportunity to see a variety of different coop styles, and the owners are present at each one to answer all your questions. You'll also see an assortment of interesting breeds, like this Polish chicken. There are 2 parts to a chicken coop: the coop itself, which is a shelter protected from the weather, where they'll spend their nights, and an attached run where they can get fresh air and exercise during the day. The location of the coop should be on flat ground, and it should be close to your house so you can hear if there's a problem and to minimize any disturbance for your neighbors. The square footage of the coop and run depend on how much time the hens will have to spend inside it. In other words, if you're gone most of the day and they have to remain locked up, then your coop and run should be large like this one. This is very important because confined chickens that are crowded and bored will eventually peck and harass one another. But if you're home a lot and able to let them out to free range on a regular basis, then you can get away with a smaller coop and run. The height of the structure is another thing to consider. I like coops and runs that are people size so I can spend time inside it, and because it's easier to clean that way. The coop should include a feeder and a waterer and poles for roosting upon. This is where they'll sleep. And it should contain a nest box lined with soft pine shavings that you can access from the outside to make daily egg collection easier. And you only need 1 nest box for every 4 to 5 birds. There should also be vents located down low and up high for good airflow. Ventilation is very important to prevent respiratory illnesses, which chickens are prone to, but you don't want it to be too drafty. Larger coops should also include a window that can open and close, and perhaps a heat lamp for the coldest nights to keep water from freezing. A shelf for storage might be handy, and of course, decorations are always nice. Coops typically include a ladder leading out to the run. The ladder should have a solid back with some rungs and not be too steep. Since we get a lot of rain here in Oregon, the run should also be at least partially covered so the hens can be outdoors without getting muddy or wet. And access to dry dirt year-round allows for dust bathing, a favorite chicken activity that helps them keep free of parasites. Most importantly, the structure should be safe from predators by burying wire in a 6-inch deep trench all around the structure. Or you can simply surround the structure with heavy pavers to keep raccoons, possums, rodents, and dogs from digging under. There should also be a roof or wire on top to prevent animals from climbing over. It's common to use chicken wire, but this is large enough for rodents to squeeze through and flimsy enough for raccoons to reach in and pull. It's fine for keeping your hens from eating your blueberries, but not the best protection from predators. The safest material is hardware cloth, because the holes are smaller and the wire is thick and sturdy. It's more expensive than chicken wire, but in my opinion, well worth it. The wire comes in 2 or 4 foot rolls that are easy to cut and staple directly onto the structure. Don't forget to include poles inside the chicken run because they can enjoy perching during the day as well. This one has an old bicycle inside the chicken run that they love to sit on. Much of the coop and run can be built out of recycled materials that you can get for free or at a discounted rate from Craigslist, FreeCycle, Restore, yard sales, livestock auctions. Or think about converting an old dog run or garden shed like this one, which will save on the cost of materials as well as yard space. Another way to save yard space is to let your chicken coop serve more than one purpose. Consider using it to support grapevines, which will provide shade for the chickens in the summertime, and any grapes that fall into the coop will make a wonderful treat for the girls. And finally, make sure all exterior doors include locks with safety latches on the tops and the bottoms. You can buy chicken coops everywhere. Heck, even Williams-Sonoma sells chicken coops these days. You can find them in farm stores, on Craigslist, and online. Most will include a tiny run, so you'll need to construct a larger one around it. Or you can buy building plans online for about $35 and use it to build one similar to this. Another option is to design and build your own from scratch using new and used materials. Whatever you decide, there are lots of ways to integrate a chicken coop beautifully into your backyard landscape. One last thing to think about before building your coop is future plans for adding to your flock. Chickens have a hierarchy, or pecking order, that is perfectly natural. This is never more apparent than when food is involved. It's usually not a problem if they free range a lot and are not crowded or bored. However, when introducing new chickens to an existing flock with an established hierarchy, it's very important that you keep the new girls in separate quarters for a few weeks, where the older girls can see and hear them but can't harm them. This structure has a door inside the run that keeps older members of the flock on one side and newer members on the other. This run is so large that there's actually a smaller coop inside. After a few weeks of separation, they can all free range the yard together, where there are plenty of distractions and lots of space so nobody really notices and everyone gets along. Not everyone has this much space, but even in a small yard, you'll need to design your coop in a manner that will allow for the safe introduction of new birds. And never, ever just add one bird to your flock, because she'll be relentlessly bullied by the others without a friend to protect her. Always add 2 new birds together, and they will remain best buddies for life. For more information, visit salemchickens.com.